What's going on, friends? Sam Prentice here, back once again. Bambu Lab have just launched a brand new printer. It's called the X2D. It's the second coming, or the second generation, as you will, from the X1 Carbon. So it should be all bells and whistles. But is it? I've had it in the studio for the past couple of months. I've been putting it through its paces. I'm here to tell you a little bit more about it. We're going to get it unboxed. I'm going to talk about the specs. And then I'm going to give you my real, true feelings about what I think about this printer. Friends, let's get straight on into this one.
You are watching a master at work.
Now, just before we get going today, I want to give a huge thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Whether you need custom PCBs, CNC parts, sheet metal, or full prototype to production support, PCBWay make the whole process ridiculously easy. Their quality is solid, their turnaround is quick, and honestly, they've become one of those companies I keep going back to. In fact, I've even been ordering from them recently myself on a fairly large project that I've just started using PCBWay boards. So wait and see what I come up with next on this very channel. Once again, thank you to PCBWay for that ongoing support. Now, Bambu Lab have built a reputation for doing one thing very, very well. Taking something that used to feel fiddly, nerdy, and occasionally rage-inducing, and making it feel like an actual consumer product. And now with the new X2D, they're not just trying to make another fast 3D printer, they're going after something a little bit more useful than that. Better surfaces, easier support removal, cleaner multi-material printing, and a machine that feels like it's actually trying to solve some of the more annoying parts of 3D printing rather than shouting bigger numbers at you. At the heart of this thing, there is a dual nozzle setup with a mechanically switched system, smart thermal management, and a bunch of calibration and monitoring features pulled down from higher-end thinking into something that's meant to be far more accessible. That, at least, is the pitch. And today I want to find out whether the X2D is actually meaningful or whether it's just another shiny iteration wrapped into some very good marketing. So let's get into what the X2D actually is. So this is Bambu Lab's second generation premium X series machine, and the big headline here is, well, it's a dual nozzle system, one main nozzle and one auxiliary nozzle. The idea is simple. Instead of constantly purging one nozzle to swap colors or materials, the printer can physically switch between the two nozzles almost instantaneously, which should mean faster color changes, less waste, and a much cleaner use of dedicated support materials. Mechanically, Bambu says this isn't motor-driven nozzle switching. It uses a purely mechanical gear and trigger system, which helps keep the toolhead lighter. And lighter toolheads matter, because less mass generally means less inertia, less vibration, and better control at speed. Now, in terms of build volume, the main nozzle print area is actually 256 by 256 by 260 mm, while the auxiliary and dual nozzle share area actually comes down to 235.5 by 256 by 256. So there is a slight reduction once you're working inside of that dual shared nozzle space. And this is certainly going to matter, but it's not any different to what we've seen on the other Bambu Lab H2 series printers. And what I will say is that the feedback I mainly get on this channel, people are basically asking for bigger build areas, and certainly bigger than what this printer can currently give. So this is going to be a consideration if you're looking to buy one of these. Temperature-wise, you're looking at what I would call a modest 300-degree nozzle and a 120-degree bed. It also has an active heated chamber up to 65 degrees C. So this isn't just another PLA box. It's clearly aiming to handle some of the more basic engineering materials much more seriously as well. You've also got dynamic flow calibration, a PMSM motor system sampling at 20 kHz, vibration compensation, AI monitoring, 28 sensors, 3-stage filtration, and a claimed noise level of below 50 decibels. So on paper, this thing is absolutely loaded. One technically interesting part of the machine is how the extrusion is split. The left hot end uses a direct drive, while the right auxiliary hot end uses a remote or Bowden-style extrusion system mounted at the rear of the printer. And that keeps the active toolhead lighter, while still giving the auxiliary side the force it needs for stable, long-distance filament feeding. However, there is a catch on the auxiliary side that basically has different behavioral limits. Bambu says that when using the auxiliary extruder, print speed should now stay under 200 mm per second, and acceleration should be now under 1000 mm per second squared. And that's for stability and reliability. So although the machine itself has a much higher headline motion capacity, the auxiliary path here very much is a use the right tool for the right job kind of situation. So let's move on to print quality. Now with a machine like this, specs are fine, but the real question is simple. Does it actually produce better parts? And the X2D's whole argument is built around surface quality and reduced post-processing. Now Bambu is clearly positioning this printer around minimizing support damage, reducing scarring, and making more advanced prints feel less like a cleanup job afterwards. Where this genuinely gets quite interesting is in the dedicated support printing. The main nozzle can print the model, while the auxiliary nozzle handles support in a different material. So you're no longer relying on the same filament to support itself and then praying that it breaks away nicely later. That should translate into cleaner support interfaces, less surface damage on more complicated prints. This is especially true if you are using two different types of material, for example PLA and PETG, because they don't stick together. The same could be said also that if you're using a more expensive filament, perhaps you'd want to use a cheaper filament for the supports. Bambu are claiming with the X2 that the machine uses dynamic flow calibration that looks beyond a single K value, and instead considers the state of the extrusion motor, hot end, nozzle, and filament itself, compensating in real time as conditions change. And to that, vibration compensation and VFA cancellation, well, the goal here is pretty obvious. Cleaner walls, sharper details, less ringing, less ghosting, and more repeatable results over time. Now, this is typically the point in the video where I judge the printer on what I've actually seen come off of the bed. And as it happens right now, I'm actually starting to produce a run of functional parts that is basically beyond the multicolour trinkets. So, in fact, right now, the X2D is a perfect printer to be undertaking this test with. The prints that you're seeing here have just been redesigned to be produced as a single print file. Previously, they were broken into two parts, and the results that they were getting at that particular point in time, well, were less than desirable, and actually also needed to be covered in leather to actually hide the print quality. What we have been able to do is improve the design and overall quality of the print, making these ready for a fresh install. And most likely, if they do want an effect on the print, then perhaps it's time to jump over to using Bump Mesh by CNC Kitchen. If nothing else, please make sure that you check it out and I'll leave the links below. So despite the print supports occasionally popping off of the bed, the print quality carried on very well. And let's be fair, this is what you should be expecting now from Bambu. I tried basic filaments such as PLA, PETG and TPU. Now TPU does have an add-on, however I found that 90 and 95 worked really well through their bone setup. And with a little temp tuning, it was well underway. Engineering filaments such as the Polymaker Fibron range were also fine. And as I did mention before, I felt that the X2D had a modest hot end temperature of 300 degrees. Personally, I think that's slightly limited for some of the up-and-coming engineering materials, and certainly when you find that Prusa are now supplying 400 degree hot end elements for the Core 1 and Core 1L, I would certainly hate to think that I'd be limited by something quite basic. Either way, for all base materials, you'll be fine, along with many of the high-performing polymers. And while I'm not expecting PEEK or PEI, I would hate to be missing out to be able to print some of the up-and-coming materials in 2026, which could be limited by this machine, whereas the H2 range has a little more than 350 degrees. Surely you would expect the same, right? Next is the bed bugbear. Now across the range, people want larger build volumes, and on the X1, the P1 and the P2, we've come to expect what many would now call the new normal, which is 256 by 256, up from the 220 or 230 square beds of the old Ender days, which is why this printer feels like it's living beyond its means. Adding a second nozzle while shrinking the usable build volume is a compromise people will notice straight away. But I guess that is up for debate, so make sure you leave your comments on both the hot end temps and the build volume down below. In any case, if you're not fazed by one or two possible small issues, the X2D is a worthy upgrade from the X1. It's loaded with tech, AI and refinements to solve all those annoying print problems. And if you're new to 3D printing, it could be a hard one to ignore. Functional parts, support focus, and some material savings are really what forms the X2D. So we are just a couple of days out from the X2D launch, and I've just been hit with the pricing, and I've got to say, I think it's fairly reasonable. For the X2D without the combo, so that's no AMS, it's $649, and that's 629 euros. For the combo version, which is the one we have here, that's $899 or 849 euros. There are some other updates to the slicer and things like that that I unfortunately don't have time to really put into this video right now. But I think from a pricing perspective, I think it's fairly reasonable. Again, let me know what you think about the price down in the comments below. Yeah, up for debate, I guess. My personal view on the X2D is that it feels less like Bambu trying to chase a headline number, and more like them trying to smooth out the parts of printing that normal people actually hate. Because for most users, the problem isn't that their printer only goes this fast instead of that fast. The problem is supports wrecking surfaces, wasted material during colour changes, filaments behaving differently 6 months in than they did on day one, and prints that technically work but still leave you with half an hour of cleanup and a mild sense of resentment. But we do need to address the elephant in the room. And it's literally in the room. It's the Snapmaker U1. Because while the X2D is clearly more polished, more sophisticated, and a more Bambu style answer to multi-material printing, the U1 represents something else entirely. It represents the market waking up to the fact that for true multicolour printing, there is really only still one strong argument, and that is a proper tool changer is just the better solution. And as I've said in previous videos, if your main goal is multi-material models, there is no better solution than a tool changer. Dedicated hot ends, dedicated material paths, less purge waste, and a system that just makes more sense when colour is the priority. Prusa, of course, have been in that conversation before with the XL, but perhaps it was too big, over-engineered, or too expensive for the common man. But surprisingly, it was actually Snapmaker that came in and really shook that side of the consumer market awake with the U1. Not only because it was a tool changer aimed at a far more mainstream buyer, but because it absolutely exploded on Kickstarter, finishing up at just over $20 million raised. So why, you may ask, does that matter here? Because the X2D and the U1 are tackling a very similar problem from two completely different angles. Here the X2D is saying let's make a dual nozzle system as refined, lightweight and as intelligent as possible. Mechanical switching, smart calibration, thermal control, better support handling, cleaner workflow, less mess, and well, that's Bambu's answer. Where the U1 is saying forget dancing around it, if people want proper multicolour printing, give them more tool heads, and honestly I respect that. But of course this isn't really a true engineering 3D printer. It isn't enclosed, or isn't enclosed yet, or there's no active heating. There's lots of things that you can pick and poke at these, but of course this isn't really a story of which one's better. It really boils down to what kind of user you are. And if you're looking for a more mature, more polished, more integrated overall experience, the one that feels engineered to reduce friction at every stage, then the X2D is probably the smarter choice. But if your brain immediately goes, I print loads of colour, and I absolutely hate purge waste, and I still think that true tool colour changing is a better architecture, well then friends, the Snapmaker U1 becomes very hard to ignore. And that for me is really what makes the X2D quite interesting. And because this isn't landing in an empty market, it's landing in a moment where people are starting to realise that multicolour and multi-material printing is no longer a side chick. Really and truly, it's becoming the battleground. So what will your choice be, the X2D or the Snapmaker U1?
So it begs the question, who is the X2D actually aimed at?
I believe this is for the user who wants a machine that pushes the closer to professional looking output, but without stepping into all sorts of pricing and complexity that would normally make you question your life choices. It makes sense for people who care about cleaner support removal, better finished surfaces, multi-material functionality that's actually useful, and a printer that can move between everyday materials and more serious engineering stuff with fewer compromises. It also makes a lot of sense for makers who are already deep into the Bambu ecosystem, because this machine is clearly designed to work as part of the wider experience, with the presets such as Maker World and Bambu Studio, app-based workflow, the usual lot, stuff that maybe you feel quite comfortable with. So who's it not for? And this might hurt a little. Probably not the person who wants the cheapest possible printer to throw PLA at trinkets on a Sunday afternoon. And maybe not the person who wants an absolute open-ended tinkability above everything else. However, if your goal is this, less mess, a little less waste, less support damage, and better looking printed parts with less faffing around afterwards, then the X2D looks like a very serious machine. Let me know, of course, what you think about that in the comments down below. So friends, that is the Bambu Lab X2D, a machine that looks like it's trying to make 3D printing less about recovery work and more about actual results. So there we go, friends. We are drawing this to a close. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you're not already. Comments go down in the comment section down below. I do read them and occasionally I will reply to them as well. We've got a membership thing on here as well. We've been working with YouTube to try and drive that algorithm. We've been doing some good work with them over the past couple of months. So again, thank you very much to Bambu Lab. Thank you for watching. I guess my closing thought would be, would you buy this or would you buy one of the H2 printers, probably the H2D. It kind of does the same thing without the additional TPU stuff. Again, let me know what you think about it. Friends, we will see you next time. Thank you very much once again to the sponsors. Of course, Bambu Lab for sending me this printer and allowing me to give my own jilted opinion on things. See you next time. Bye for now.
You are watching a master at work.